welcome to the 13th house. Come on in, take your shoes off, make yourselves at home, and let's get weird for a little bit, shall we? If you're new here, welcome to the weirdness. It is going to be exactly that. If you are returning, welcome back, and thank you so much for finding something here worth returning to. I absolutely love having you, and it most certainly would not be the same without you. As always, your perception is your responsibility, alright? So please only take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Keep in mind it's a collective message, so every little thing may or may not resonate with you in your specific situation. Alrighty? Okay. So with that out of the way, let's just dive on into it. 7th house wanting to make a peek along with a lump of other cards that we're just going to put back. I know it's been a while since I posted anything. I got a new job, and so my schedule got a little wonky, but I'm finding my sweet spot again, so we're just going to roll with it. The energy over the past month or so, fluctuating between, a lot of big leaps and bounds with personal growth, okay? Really standing strong in your sovereignty, okay? Understanding what that means to you, how to apply it, you've been really finding your footing with that. And now we're entering in that phase where you're starting to feel the lag, where it's like reality needs to hurry up and catch up to the progress you made, right? And there's been a lot of that soulmate energy really simmering, well, more than simmering. It's been getting pretty hot in the background of everything. So I'm being nudged to do a soulmate counterpart read, so that's what I'm going to do. Not really my kind of thing, but whatever. We're going to see why I'm being nudged in that direction, so let's fuck around and find out together. Fuck around and find out with friends. Yay! Alright. This is wanting to be a twat, so we're going to do this. Aries. Alright, this could be your sign, your someone's sign, or just the overall energy. Okay, showing initiative, being bold and courageous, rushing forward. That does match the energy that's been present that I was just talking about, standing in your sovereignty. Taking action on, the energy that's moved through you, that's gotten you this far. No longer just speaking words of affirmation of who you want to be, where you want to be, but actually taking the steps, embodying that shit, and stepping out into the world, showing up as that. And then we have Pisces, being intuitive, following your ideals, being open to love, and understanding emotions. Ooh. This is good energy that's a nice balance with between head and heart here, okay? I like that. On the bottom of the deck, we have the 8th house, death, rebirth, transformation, and transcendence, willingness or need to let go, to yield, to put oneself in another's hands. Sex and death require such an attitude and capacity and hold potential for rebirth. Being limited by others' ideas or values, talents and resources of others, your partner's money or resources. Okay. So you might be coming out of a situation where you were kind of maybe a little too dependent on someone else, either their energy, their resources, validation, right? And, you've been transcending out of that. I've been getting a lot with the soulmate stuff about surrender, right? We're going to see if that happens to come up, but that's been something that continues to kind of press just beneath the surface when it comes to the soulmate stuff. And it's like, if you're a feminine, you've never been able to fully surrender, it's been a performative thing for you. And I don't mean that in any offensive way whatsoever, but it's like you've had this thing where it's like, well, if I don't perform it, then I'm never going to get it. Because, you know, whoever you've been interacting with, the ones who have crossed your path, what have you, like, there hasn't been anyone available to be able to hold space for you to be able to fully surrender the way that you need to, kind of thing. And it's like, no offense to them, but it's just they're not there. All right, we have disability and immorality. All right, so like again, the inability to hold the space that you need, that you require. Okay. Propagation of light. Yes, you need someone who is like a co-creator, right? Someone who can take your energy, who knows how to handle it, okay, without it destabilizing them. Whoever you are, you hold a lot of sexual energy, alright? You're very magnetic, very alluring, okay? And that can make a lot of suitors a bit fucking crazy, you know? They like the idea of it. They like the idea of dominating it. They don't, however, understand what to really do with it, right? And you need someone who knows how to propagate that shit. Who knows how to take the energy that you offer, that you pour in when you give your full surrender like that, and can help fucking grow kingdoms out of that shit. That's what it's meant for. And then we have rage. Yes. That's been that feeling beneath everything, and it's not just your rage anymore, it's the rage of your counterpart, alright, who's been feeling this with you through all of it, okay? Because what makes a divine counterpart different than everything that you've been exposed to so far is in how you can think of it as like they dwell in your heart space, right? And they've yet to materialize in the external. Now, how that happens, I can't say. For everyone, it's going to be its own sort of way. It's supposed to be that way, okay? But they rise up out of the recognition and need for them, as well as you embodying your most authentic self, your most authentic expression, right? It gives rise to that energy to where it can reflect in the external, okay? And this is why sovereignty is so important, and why so much of sovereignty is simply just embodying your authentic self, okay? Fuck what it means to anyone else. Fuck what they want to try to define it as being good, bad, light, dark, whatever. It's beyond that. It's just you. And then on the bottom of the deck we have cruelty, okay? So that rage is coming from your divine counterparts, and recognizing, you know, the cruelty you've been exposed to. Alright, which is really sweet, but we need to make sure that energy stays grounded and focused. Alright, we don't want our beloveds to get in their own way, so to speak, right? We've come this far. We cannot have that shit blowing back on us now, right? Alright, so we have scrying, intuition, okay? So this might be a way that you connect with your divine counterpart, okay? They could be the voice of your intuition, or your intuition kind of leads you on these energetic signatures, these traces of your counterpart, right? And you learning to trust that has been able to bring you closer to this space where you can interact with them more clearly, okay? And I've been picking up a lot on the frustration of like feeling like they're so close yet still so far away because you can't physically touch them. Now, you may have made a lot of progress internally to where there's so much of a connection that at times it's like you can hear their voice, you can, even your body can kind of, I don't want to sound lewd or anything, but it's almost like you can feel their touch without them laying a hand on you. It's a very intimate, very deep bond, very deep connection that I'm picking up on. And if it's for you, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If not, then, yeah, you're not going to understand. It's going to sound really weird. But anyway, then we have strength. Yes. It takes a lot of strength to hold this kind of connection, okay? And not only to just hold it, but to maintain it, because all that comes with it is very easy to collapse under the sheer weight of how powerful it is, but also, like, it can destabilize a lot of individuals to not be able to physically touch something, right? That's where a lot of individuals break, is the whole thing of, I can't see them with my eyes in front of me, I can't touch them with my hands, that kind of thing. In which that's valid to a degree, because yes, your body does have, you know, a right to access that, but with this kind of connection, it's very important that the foundation of it is built beyond the flesh, right? And then the flesh is raised up in it, if that makes sense. Okay, that way the flesh doesn't take over the entire connection, because we see in the prior connections that we've had, how the flesh can unintentionally kind of get in the way, right? Yep. And then on the bottom of the deck is owl, wise seeing, wise action, right? So, you've gained the wisdom to understand this, and you've really stepped into this role within yourself where the line between where your soul ends and your flesh begins, or vice versa, is blurring more and more, okay? And it's entering a state of full-blown integration, like, and so your body is primed and ready to be met and meet this counterpart energy, okay? We have doctor, healer of ailments, treatment, surgery, diagnosis, and compassion with this disability and immorality. And then clown, jester of laughter, comedy, mask, performer. Okay, so with the you've taken the time to heal what you've endured at the hands of those who didn't have the ability to meet you where you are, to hold you as you are, okay? And you've been able to really let go of the need to mask. And we were talking about performer, like having to perform this role because it was all you knew, right? And it does take healing when that's been the only thing that you've known that that you can get any kind of reciprocation with, right? Like it can become a habit. And you've been really showing initiative, being courageous, stepping up, even when you don't know how something's going to go, showing up as yourself, right? Putting that healing to the test and, you know, learning to kind of make light of those times where, you know, you sit in awkwardness, like, because you didn't really know what to do, but you were being yourself. You were being truly yourself. You weren't performing. And even when it would have been easier to default back into, you know, performing a role for someone, like you chose to step the fuck up. All right, with propagation of light, we have captain, navigator of destiny and voyage, leadership, decision making and objective, and then influencer, okay? Trendsetter, content creator, follower, online influence. Okay. Right. All right. So, and those in your collective, right? Those who are on the same energetic wavelength as you, okay, this is letting you know with propagation of light that, you know, you stepping up and embodying this authentic expression, okay, is really inspiring others at this time, and as you continue to do that, it's going to ripple outward. And these are signs that, you know, your reality is catching up with you, signs that your counterpart is coming in, because, and I've said this before, you and your counterpart are going to be leading by example, Okay, others are going to see the way that you have done this, that you have stepped into this, and they're going to want to know how, because it's something new. It's something that hasn't been done before in exactly this way, right? Like, it's not new as in something completely new. It's new as in it is this amalgamation of all that had been prior, but expressing it in a new way, bringing it together in a new way, balancing it in a new way. All right, that's going to bring about really profound change, and it's going to, really shift this reality into something that's it's going to be better tailored to the heart, and well, not just to one aspect of being or the other, but like to the whole. Like, and the flesh is going to be included in that. You know, that's so much of what this go round has been about. Okay, to return to source within is to have the body rise into divinity as well. Okay, it's supposed to be more than just a temporary vessel, right? With Pisces and Rage, we have Boss, Master of Wealth, Risk, Investment, Management, and Leader. And we've got Repairman. Repair, Restore, Restart, Renovate. Alright. Yeah. So with that Rage, right? And we had being intuitive here, and it brings us back to this here. And Aries is a very masculine energy as it is. And so you could be a feminine, picking up on this masculine energy, like this intuition. He could be helping you lead with that rage, like putting it somewhere where it can be of use, right? Lending you his horn, so to speak, okay? So you can really step into that leadership role, okay, within yourself, as he comes forth, in your external. Like, you also have that internal component as well. This repair, restore, restart, renovate. Okay, so we had the healer of ailments, treatment, surgery, diagnosis, compassion, and then over here, this repair, restore, restart. Sometimes rage can be the perfect impetus to bring about the change that we need, right? But it's in making sure that you're focusing it in the right direction, right? And you have the strength to be able to hold this together. On the bottom of the deck we have chef, culinary maestro, cooking, culinary artistry, seasoning, and proficiency. So yeah, you have what it takes to see this through. It doesn't feel like there's any reason to worry about the fact that rage is a component here. It's almost like it's that perfect something, that perfect spice to add to the dish, so to speak, to really make it complete here. And there's something about, like, you like that. You like that there's rage over the injustice that you had been enduring, and like you've held on to this rage for so long. It's like I said in one of my last readings, it's like this raw, primal, feminine rage, and it's ancient, and it's fucking pissed. And to have that be validated by this divine masculine, instead of just all this focus on, oh, we'll heal this, balance that, da-da-da-da-da. It's like, no, just hold space for me to be fucking angry. Like, aren't you upset? Aren't you angry about this? And this is like the masculine showing up and saying, yes, like, I see it. For a while it seems like the divine masculine had to also take a step, off of his little pedestal, off of his high horse, so to speak, and stop observing so much, and like really step into you and feel through you. All that you were experiencing and enduring, and it really reactivated the heart of the divine masculine in saying, holy shit, like this this is painful, and it's something that even in observing, you know, from where they were seated, they could see it and they knew it was wrong, but it was like, it's kind of like this doctor sitting here. It's almost like still taking a seat back. It's like a very clinical approach. Like, yes, I see that that's wrong, but it's like, but you're not in it with me, so you don't fully see the totality of it. And until you're in it with me, I don't want to hear anything else that you have to say. I don't want to hear any more of your words about how to heal this or anything like that. Like, okay, yeah. I'm getting, some of you have also picked up on this with the divine masculine, of how, like, there were parts of you that felt like you could not fully open up to your divine masculine because there were parts of you that were craving certain things that it was thought that your divine masculine could have seen as immoral, okay? Or that maybe you had tried opening up to your divine masculine about this stuff, and he may have misunderstood it as you trying to be performative for him. And he made it like, you assume that this is what I want of you, so that's why you're doing it. And you're like, no, shut the fuck up. Like, this is what I want. It's like, fuck all of what you want. I'm trying to tell you this is what I want. And it could have been a miscommunication there. Wow, that was a bit of a side quest. But anyway, they're wanting you to know that, like, they're with you. They hopped into that seat with you. That's what you've been feeling it over the past few months. You know, y'all being more on the same page. There's been a deepening of that connection in a way where it's like, it's really sparked. Ooh, we have Lovers. Yep. It's gone from this role of, you know, the divine masculine just kind of watching over you and being there as, you know, a means of support, someone for you to lean on, okay, this divine presence for you to guide you, and now he's like stepped down from that high place, and he's in love. And you're letting him love you, like, because he's showing up the way that you need him to. And for those of you who your divine masculine was in a more shadowy type energy, right? He has made the decision to step out of the shadows and more into the light, to be able to step alongside you, okay? Instead of just being this background character in your experience, okay? Propagation of light, captain, influencer. Whoa, that shit almost hit me in the fucking face. High honor. Alright. Yeah, and part of it was some of your masculines were a little intimidated. The adjudication here, occupation, concern, distant horizon. Yep, on what their role would be in the near future. Okay, on what judgment would be called, and what would that where would that place them in your life, right? Where would that place them next to you? Okay, and it's like on I don't know the word. Through the ether, okay, whatever. It's like this meeting had been. It's like this decision has been made to where, you know, stepping into these positions is a position of high honor. It is not one where, you know, they have to worry about judgment being cast on them for how they step in and show up for you, okay? Especially the masculines that had been in this more like a watcher type energy, okay, where they were supposed to be in this position of like being like a energetic doctor, an energetic physician, right? Because then you could see where from where they were standing, how it would be a conflict of interest to be there for you, to be, you know, to provide you with comfort, guidance, what have you, and then start blurring those lines between healer and lover kind of thing. It's making sense for somebody out there. I promise it's for somebody out there. For whoever you are, you'll know what I'm talking about. Alright, and then for rage with boss and repairman, we have false person. Exactly. And it's not only like rage at the one who had tried to interject themselves into the divine masculine's place, but also the false image that surrounded the divine masculine when he was in that higher place or that shadowy place, how that distortion and how they were being perceived impacted the relationship, the connection, right? And how their inaction, okay, may have played a role in that, okay? On the bottom of the deck, we have message of concern. We're going to see what that's about. What is this message of concern? Nope. Capricorn. Following your own road, being ambitious, being cool and controlled. Alright. So you had your goals and everything, you've had them, you've maintained them, you've literally checked every box, and like you really stepped into yourself, your sovereignty, okay? And to have been leaving you in a position like that and not rising up to step by your side to meet you where you are. Yep. War and envy, dark motives. Like, it was... There are other energies present that when they look at divine counterparts and they look at a divine union, they want it so bad and they envy it to a point where it festers, right? Because they know they'll never have it. They know that they'll never have someone surrender to them out of love. That they will never be able to surrender parts of themselves to another person out of love. Because to them it's about control, it's about power. And they hate what they know they'll never have. Alright, and these presences are in high and low places, right? And so this is why it's imperative for the counterparts to be able to come together, not only in spirit, in essence, and all, but in flesh too, right? Like, but the whole part of it being in the flesh, that's kind of the last step, because, you know, the flesh is very powerful, and it has the ability to create and destroy, alright? So, you know, the foundation had to be laid before the flesh could be able to embody that. It's like the foundation, you know, like the skeleton of which the sanctity of it all is built on. Otherwise, they would end up being no better than, you know, what you've had to deal with already. And this is how you know you've been able to set them apart from all that you had been surrounded by, okay? And you still have chosen yourself, you still have chosen them, despite the knowing and the recognition that perhaps maybe you would never see them, feel them, taste them, touch them, whatever. Like, you still chose to love them anyway. And thus, you know, that foundation is laid and it can be trusted. Your manifestations are going up, okay? All this war and envy and dark motives have started to supercharge the manifestation, so be mindful of your words. at this time. Some of you, you have the gift to create when you speak. Okay, some of you have the gift to create when you daydream, so be mindful of that. Some of you, it also comes out when you're writing. The pen is mightier than the sword for some of you. Sword being the tongue, by the way. Alright, reap, harvest, and slay. Alright, then we have the letter V. Alright, you could resonate with like Venusian energy, okay, Libra, Taurus. Yeah, it's time to harvest your manifestations, to reap that, okay? My reapers, my lovely reapers. That was the name, when I first started my channel, that was, the name was Keeper the Reaper. Anywho, and we have, I am watching you, spy and video surveillance, okay? So, this could be the reflective aspect when you think of like the infinity mirror effect between divine counterparts. Alright, I'm trying to think of a way to put this. So it's like a part of you is in their heart, a part of them is in your heart, okay? And when those reflections step in front of each other, right? So when their reflection, as it is known in your heart, it stands before you in the flesh in front of your eyes, right? And vice versa. There will always be a part of you that remains within one another, okay? That's what keeps the connection thriving even when you are apart, despite any amount of distance or perceived distance. What this is letting you know is that, like, I'm here with you, I'm watching you, I see you. Even though I may not be in the flesh at this time. And it might also be giving you a heads up about, you know, people who are attempting to spy to see what you're trying to manifest, okay? We have admiring from afar, influencing at a distance. Pick me. Grooming or being groomed. Okay, and that could be like, also, like beautification, as well as like grooming, like mind control, grooming. We have O here, V-O. Ooh, that's my great-grandmother's name, Vo. Interesting. Somebody was trying to groom you to be a pick-me. And maybe you used to. Maybe you used to be very eager to please, okay? Because somebody was wanting you to be their puppet, right? But you snapped out of this just in time. Ooh. Whoever you are, if that's the case, like, please don't be ashamed. If you used to be in that energy, okay? Because for some, you know, that type of grooming starts so early, and it's out of a need, a desperate need to be loved, to not feel invisible, and God, yeah, stop and pay attention. So you've learned to stop and pay closer attention to you know, how you respond, because you've noticed that your allure is powerful, and where you direct your focus, like, this is why they wanted it to be so much the other way, to where you were pining for someone else's attention instead of you demanding or commanding the presence and attention of others. It's because when you have their attention, you are in such a powerful position, and whoever you are, you could very easily control others if you had the mind to, if you really wanted to. It would be nothing. Like, people are lucky that you have a good heart, that it is not in you to be, but see, this is how you're able to notice the shit, even as subtle as others can try to make it, is because you know, because you've been through it. You have been through it not only in just this lifetime, but in prior lifetimes, okay? We have busted, these two kids coming out from underneath a hat. Hats used to be symbolic of, like, protecting the crown, protecting your ideas, okay? So someone's ideas, this whole plan that they had to manipulate and control someone, to try to groom them, is being exposed, okay? Then we have Gemini, being versatile, adapting, sharing experiences, welcoming challenges, and it's also twins. And you notice there's these two here. Alright? Two sides of the same coin. Read between the lines there. Heads or tails doesn't matter. It's all on the same coin. Alright. And then we have Sagittarius, being positive, being sincere and easygoing, looking for new experiences. And contentment within fulfillment, enjoying the harvest, and it's a good omen, alright? Because you were able to see through the illusion, you started to see that, beyond what's on this side of the coin or that side of the coin, you start to understand that it's a coin nonetheless. Both sides belong to the same fucking coin. The same something. Right? And the same something was wearing different masks in front of you, trying to keep you distracted, so you were always performing a role. Am I good enough for this, or am I good enough for that? And either way, you were still serving the same fucking thing. It was just wearing which mask. And so either way, that something was benefiting. If that makes sense. I hope it's clicking for somebody. I can feel it. This was a possessive and toxic individual, alright? And they were hoping to enjoy the harvest, like getting fucking gorged off of your energy, because they had you going, like, and that was the thing with the whole thing about duality, right? But what they didn't expect was this harmony and balance, right? Stay wild, Moonchild. You chose yourself, alright? And in doing that, you chose your counterpart, the one who your heart knows, the one who your soul knows, okay? And it exists beyond this dualistic thing, right? That wanted to say either choose this side or this side, this or that. And that was the only option it gave you, because it didn't care. Because your attention was still on it anyways, because it was sitting behind both of the masks, right? But in you doing this, it put your energy towards something else, something that had been, like, kind of shoved to the background, that this something else that was wearing the two masks had stepped in place of, right? And nobody could see it. But it's because of this whole thing of this grooming, right? It was so insidious in the way it was done, and it's a miracle that, there are so many that are, even if you don't understand the totality of it, the fact that you see any of it is miraculous in and of itself, because that's where it starts. Alright, then we have illusions are down, okay? Whoever's been trying to distract you from what's actually going on, right, is getting exposed. Alright, the hand that's been casting the shadows, okay? Your shadow work has been slowly exposing this individual for who they are, okay? You're moving away from pain, hopping on the love train. Your mindset is focused on love. You know what you want. You're diving into it head first. You're not hesitating anymore. You know what you want. You know why you want it. You don't give a shit what anybody else says, thinks, or whatever about it. You trust your heart completely and fully, and that's chef's kiss. Then we have male energy, willpower, creativity, independence, assertiveness, charisma, the sun. Meanwhile, somebody thinks you're a witch, but they don't even know what that is, alright? And you don't even care. Like, you're over here, and we have liturgy. You're over here, like, basking in your own sun, like your own, it's like you have your own personal sun inside of yourself. Like, You don't even give a fuck about any of this crap of, oh, so-and-so thinks I don't give a fuck. I could give it. Oh, go think whatever you want. Just leave me alone. I'm over here in my own thing, bringing about my own shit. And the fact that they can't get you distracted and wrapped up into what they think about you, that's moving you up. You're moving way up out of their atmosphere. Like, you... And your counterpart's meeting you there. That's what's beautiful about it. And we have all these jewels, right? This is material gains, material things. So like what was bound to being immaterial, what was bound to only being in that underworld type space, that space of potential. You can think of it as imagination as well, what could only be fathomed as an idea but never fully come forth. As you move up, these things are going to be able like come out of you. They're going to show up outside of you, all right? And we have the letter B. I'm being told to stop there. All right, on the bottom of the deck is hard work, diligence, cleaning out your energy, cleaning up a situation or a home, repairing, working on it, right? You've been working on it. You've been doing the damn thing, and the proof is in the pudding. Okay, you're going to continue moving up. All right, and your counterpart is rising to meet you where you are. So that's that. I hope that this helps somebody out there, and until next time, bye.